from Nashville, Tennessee. It's time for another episode of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow, where all things related to your safety and security are discussed, detailed, and delivered to you. You may leave with a tip that saves you money or a tactic that saves your life. So here are your hosts, owner and founder of Defend Systems, Brink Fidler, and owner and operator of Herring Technology, Tom Herring.
Hey guys, welcome to this edition of Tips, Tactics, and Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. Brink and Tom, my co-host here as always. Today, I am pleased to introduce you all to our guest, also known as the Vice President of Operations of my company, also known as my number two. Sometimes I call her the Veep. Tracey Mendenhall came on board with me full-time in October of 22. About 5 or 6 months before our world exploded in a post-Covenant School world. So I thought it would be timely and appropriate to talk about the importance of training and kind of talk about the different organizations that we've trained and why they all decide to train, because they are so vastly different. And I say all that in our intro when we start training, but we'll just start with welcome, Tracey.
Hi.
Yeah. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
I think I'm glad you showed up chipper today. You just came from the dentist.
I did.
Tracey's one of those people that actually loves the dentist.
Absolutely.
So
it's my favorite visit.
And we're not being sarcastic. She really does love the dentist. I thought she was joking the first time she said that.
No.
So somebody that loves to go to the dentist and is training in school shootings.
You nervous?
I love it.
Yeah.
We got the mindset right there.
Yeah. Preparation.
Drill it.
Prevention. Yeah. Right.
You can't talk to people if you have gross teeth.
That's right.
Yeah. Well said. So, I think most people know that, or if you're new to this whole thing, Defense Systems, our primary industry we serve, or I guess role we serve in society, is preparing people for their worst day, right? So active violence mitigation training, schools, corporation, healthcare, law firms, community centers, you name it, really different organization types. And, Tom, you and I connected years ago because you're the technology piece of what I do and I'm the training piece of what you guys do. So we are very complementary of each other. But it took a while because of COVID, to be honest with you, and the fact that your company's so spread out because you guys are all over the country. But it took a while to get your company in the same spot to go through the training program. And a lot of your guys don't work in this office. They don't work in a building like that. But you still brought them in and trained them on how to respond to bad things happening, regardless of whether or not it was in this building, right? Why was that so important to you?
We're in places to where things happen. So everyone is. You're on the street. You're at the mall. You're at church. You're at work. You're at, kids are at school. It's not just a knowledge that you have for that particular place. And it was important to us for all of our employees to be able to aid not only themselves but others around them, because they're in and out of so many places, on the road driving. And we know that the response time right now are not, I'm not even going to say where they should be, because is it even practical for them to be, capable of them to be, just with traffic, with anything else. I want them to be able to take care of themselves and anybody else around them when it, if something were to happen, whether it be a shooter or a wreck or accident or whatever. It's just a skill and a knowledge that we don't value in America on a day-to-day basis that we should.
Until something happens.
Until something happens. From the great philosopher Mike Tyson, everybody's prepared until they get punched in the mouth. And
Truth.
Yeah. And that's when it...
Everything changes when you get punched in the face.
Correct. It exposes everything. And to what you thought you had to what really happened. And we don't practice it. Fortunately, there are you guys and other companies that are out training people to do it. And it's not just a one-time training. It's something that has to continue. It has to become part of discipline, which in America, we're very disciplined people.
Yeah.
Killing it.
We love discipline.
Yeah.
So, but it is a discipline that has to be there.
It's interesting you say that, because we have clients that see the need, bring us in, do training, and that's it. I mean, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Well, what's your turnover been? All those things. But then we have other clients that are super on board with the responsibility of ongoing training because of turnover and all those things. So I'm interested to hear from Tracey.
Yes.
So give a little background on her. Tracey was with Metro Nashville Police for 10 years. Half of that time she was at our training academy as an instructor. So I say to this day she was born to teach because she's great at instructing. Not scared to talk in front of people, all those things, commands the room. But she's also an EMT and a medic and the first female to serve on the SWAT team in Nashville. So she's the first female to make it through the SWAT process. So she's legit.
Not because she was female. Either.
No.
Let me.
Let's not talk about lowering standards. I'll get real fired
that's
up.
what I wanted to hit on. I don't want you to get fired up, but the offer was made to her that she could qualify at a different physical fitness standard and still make through the process, and she refused. She said, "Absolutely not. I'm gonna perform to the same physical fitness standards that you guys have to meet to make it through this process." I mean, that's obviously huge. Now, what changed all that? I was able to steal her. She became a mom to 2 identical twin little girls, and that changed her outlook on her job.
Everything.
And now you need the SWAT training.
That's right.
100%.
Now I wrestle alligators every night for bed.
Yes, true. So thank God you went through the SWAT process. Makes you a ninja to deal with your own kids.
That's right. I need to be.
Talk to me of the biggest difference between, I mean, you were used to teaching, obviously, but you taught cops forever, and then now you don't. We teach, well, that's not true. We do some law enforcement training, but not the majority of what we do. So what to you is the biggest difference in teaching everyday people versus teaching cops?
Cops are hard. Cops come to training because they're required to be at training, and they get a check every year because they're in service, and they're just hard. Especially when you look like me and you got these old hats that have been in the department for 30 years, and what's this little blonde girl going to teach me that I don't already know? I get that type of attitude quite a bit. Teaching civilians is fun. It's that part for me it's the best part. I get to teach moms and dads and teachers and your 20-year-old preschool teacher that, hey, you're not a victim, and there are things that you can do, and that's why I was put on this earth, is to empower those people.
100%. And it's really fun to do, and it's so interesting to watch the transformation happen in front of you. You know, when you're looking at these people that are, well, in every training we do, there's 3 kinds of people in the beginning. There's the people that say, "Thank God we're finally doing this." There are the people that go, "Meh, okay, whatever." And then there are the few people in the room who say, "Why are we doing this?" And the training program is designed, and it does, to get the people that are saying, "Why are we doing this?" at least to the middle, but usually all the way to the other side. Not only that, you see people who are sitting there that are scared, timid, not knowing what to expect, and you watch them transform into, "I've got this." Like if I have to face my worst day, I've got this, and you watch it happen right in front of you, and it's very rewarding. As sad as that is, I mean, we train people to face their worst day.
But we also get to, because of what we do and because of how small we are and we're a small and mighty team, I get this personal connection with everybody that we teach. I talk to every single person that calls into our company. I email with every single person that calls into our company and emails our company. And I email them. There's some people I email with 100 times before we ever meet them in person, like Monday.
Yeah,
when I got to meet Janice, like, I have emailed with her 1,000,000 times, and I finally get to meet her, and I finally get to hug her. You know, the same thing happened in Alabama right after, or the fall after Covenant happened, and Julie Trum from that Providence Classical in Alabama, and she prayed over me on my way to Covenant 2 days later, and I got to meet her and hug her. And these are people, like, these people are our family after that.
Yeah. That didn't happen with the cops when you were training them? Yeah.
There's not a lot of hugging when it comes to cops.
Like, thanks for in service this year. Can I give you
appreciate it, Tracey? Fist bump.
Yeah, no, there's
you
not.
end up in HR with that. Hey,
yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. Yeah,
it's the program, and Tom knows he's been through it, but it's designed to get you emotionally invested, so that you do lock in on what we're telling you and being able to recall it under stress. But and I didn't ever get a chance to talk to you about this, I don't think, Tom, but feedback from your people. I mean, I got some that day, some to me, but
I'll be honest, that the training that we did with you guys, which is totally different than what we do. I mean, we're in training all the time with our guys. We go and do, team events and things like that at times. They literally said it was one of the best things that we could have ever done for them. They appreciate it. I mean, just from the education, and it wasn't just for work. It's something each one of them takes with. I loved your word. You said it empowers them. And that's what every one of them, they just the confidence of, hey, I know how to take care of this situation right now.
Yep.
It is just what it did for them mentally and their morale. And it was a team activity. It was fun too.
Yeah.
It's not scare you to death. None of them. I think they all had a little apprehension going into it of what are we doing. But it was enjoyable.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing about it. And Tracey, you said something about the sister praying for you afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
We've had that happen with our business. When you protect somebody or you do it, and it is the most fulfilling thing that we have ever received, is that, somebody saying they prayed for you over it. Mm-hmm. It's so humbling, and it's so meaningful. And what we're talking about with all of this is meaningful.
Yep.
Yeah, whether you're in it or you've been affected by it, by knowing somebody or whatever, it's meaningful. And I'll throw it back to y'all.
Yeah. So you said enjoyable, and people that don't know, that sounds weird, right? Like it sounds. We hear that a lot though. People like. They love it, and it's like, why would you love active shooter training? Well, it's not that they love that they have to do it. It's the programming. It took a lot of feedback in the beginning when this thing got going of adjusting things to the new audience, right? Like I'm not dealing with cops and soldiers anymore, so. But we did that, and we do it in such a way where we lighten it where we can because it's a heavy topic. But our company mission statement and motto is the following: we empower you to save lives, including your own. And that's reality of every bad thing that has ever happened anywhere. Self-preservation and self-sustainment is key. It doesn't matter if you got 800 cops. How many cops were at the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting in Las Vegas? Tons. I don't know, hundreds. Bad stuff happens everywhere. Back to the other thing that you saw that was so crucial was, and I let you, I threw you a softball and pull it out of you, but you wanted to give this skill set to your employees for their everyday lives, like with their families, at the mall, at the grocery store, at the restaurant, all those things, because it's just the world we live in now, which is terrible. We say all the time, how sad is it that this company even exists, that we have to do active violence mitigation training for. We literally did an orthodontist office the other day. Like, this stuff is everywhere, but they see that, okay, that bad stuff happens everywhere. It happens ridiculously fast, and because of that, we have to give our employees some tools to mitigate damage, and that's what we do. I mean, we're never going to stop all these.
Nope.
But if we can mitigate 90% of the damage by training people in that window that we have from something bad happening to something bad ending, then we should do that.
All right, Brink, I'm going to interrupt you. I want to clarify on enjoyment when we did it as a team here. Some had enjoyment of getting the knowledge to do it, the ability to do it. Our office manager here, who works directly with me constantly, she took the most enjoyment out of it because she got to choke me out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Rear naked choke. I can see that. Yeah.
I've never heard the end of it since. And anytime I say anything that might be slanted, she's like, I'll choke you out.
I love that.
Pretty epic. I do remember watching this unfold right in front of me, and that was pretty amazing.
Unfold is the...
Yeah. But that's just a good example. I mean, like any we're not trying to turn people into a Tracey overnight and then 4.5 hours and turn you into a SWAT ninja. Like, but no, we're going to give you practical stuff that's easy We joke about it all the time. I mean, people think we're wizards. And it's like, no, we've taken data, facts, research, and battlefield tactics and then packaged it for everyday people where they can grasp it, understand it, hopefully do it under stress. Sadly, it's been tested. But, I hit on that earlier. That's when our world exploded. But as in a post-covenant world, like every school in town and not every school across the country would just found out about training and us and everything overnight, which is really terrible. But hands down, my favorite group, and I'll throw this back to Tracey too. I think she'll agree. But my favorite group to teach is teachers. For sure.
Oh yeah, teachers are.
Teacher.
It's pretty cool because your administration typically thinks their teachers can't handle it, that they struggle, that it's too much, that it's too heavy. And then they show up and the teachers just kill it. The teachers want the knowledge. They want to learn. They want to put tourniquets on. They want to save their kids. And you get them so emotionally invested with the warrior mindset, with put your kids behind you in your classroom. Those are their kids. They have the heart of a teacher for a reason.
Absolutely. I mean, as a former teacher, that's in their wheelhouse. They care so much for those students, want to do for them. Sometimes teachers, people say, well, they get 3 months off in the summer and Christmas breaks and everything. When you drop your kids off, the majority of the time,
they want them.
They care for your kids as much as you do at that point in time.
Well, they get to spend more time with your kids than you do.
Yeah.
If you think about it, like the school day is more time. You get them for a couple hours at night and an hour in the morning to get them ready for school before they go to bed. Then you get them on the weekends. Your teachers have them how many hours a week?
Yeah. Well, and a little story on that. On a side note, I used to have a parent, or parents would call me and go, well, my son said you said such and such during class. And it's like talking about getting to know your students. And I said, I may have, probably did. I apologize for that.
I have no filter. My name's Tom Herring.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Tracey Mendenhall, either one.
You're in good company.
But I said, hey, I tell you what, you don't bother me with what my kid says that I said in class, and I won't come to you of everything your kid said about you in class.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times parents don't realize what their kids spill at the classroom. So they do become part of, it is a family within those classrooms and those teachers.
I'm glad you told that parent story and not another one that I was thinking of that you've told me before. So we'll keep this a family show. That's great. But Tracy's 100% right. And that's one thing that school admins very often make the mistake of is they think, I can't put this in front of my teachers. We already asked them to do too much, or this is too much on them. And we find that it's the total opposite is the truth. The teachers want this knowledge. They want to protect those kids. When we talk about the warrior mindset, and she's talking about put your kid, like people doubt they have a warrior mindset or have the ability to pull that out of themselves until we say, put those kids behind you and tell me you don't have this. Of course you do. Like absolutely you do. And it shocks admins a lot of times that they're teachers. But again, a lot of times they don't know what to expect either. Yeah. There's a private school in town. I won't name them, but they tried to book us for training a couple of years ago. We were booked solid because it was actually it was last year, 2023. We were booked solid for in-service because it was right after Covenant. So they brought in a different company. This year rekindled the conversation with a security guy on campus, and basically when he went to the head of school to talk about bringing us in, he said, after the experience we had with that training that they brought in last year, we can't even talk about this right now. Because the experience was apparently
poor,
very traumatic.
I don't know. I've never seen it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who it is. And so I think that is a lot of the preconceived notion is that a lot of people think, oh, they're going to come in, rah, kill the bad guy. I know for a fact another one of our clients hired someone else before us. Won't name them either. The group came in out of town to train them, and they were literally telling these teachers that if the child freezes, like a third grader freezes, you're gonna have to just knock them to the floor and keep going. And it's like, do you know who you're talking? Like, you're not talking to a bunch of cops, dude. You're talking to a teacher who's not going to knock a third grader to the floor. Like, you can't. So I think that we, as a company, take a lot of pride in not being that way and being able to deliver and connect with our students. And like Tracey said, we have a personal connection with them. Just who we are. You've seen the training. We leave it all out on the floor right in front of you. We don't, whatever. We're humans. We're people. It's important. It's never been more important than a post-covenant world. It's always been important, though. But it's exhausting at times. But and we don't just train schools. I want to make sure people know that. I mean, we train
everybody.
I mean, like it's crazy. Like when I usually open up with training, I'm talking about orthodontics office, country music tours, Nashville Symphony, corporate America. I mean,
because you don't know it happens
where
everywhere.
It's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yep, bad stuff happens all the time. Is it ever going to happen to you? Probably not. I mean, we talk about this all the time. But okay, I mean, I don't want to live in a probably not world and then not probably be able to help myself or somebody else. That I'll never forget. There's a country music tour we train, and the first year we trained them, I had to go to the tour management and say, is anybody on your tour, were they at the Vegas shooting? Were they at Route 91 Hard? Because we're going to cover that, and we're going to show footage from there, and I need to know and there were two guys on this particular tour. They were at Vegas. One was front of house, front and sound, and he's had a lot of other trauma in his life. Doesn't matter what, but he's had a lot. He opted out of the training. I go to the other guy who doesn't matter what his role is, but I was talking to him, and he said, I know this is going to be really tough. He's like, but I was taken to an area where they were bringing a bunch of injured people, and I literally watched people bleed to death right in front of me, and I had no idea what to do. And he said, I can't wait to go through this training, even though it's going to be hard. So that's just a good example of, like, you don't know where. And now he's experienced it in such a way where he felt completely helpless. And that's, I think everybody in their life has been in a situation where you felt helpless, but like, golly, and there's a life on the line, whether it's yours or somebody else's.
Well, it's the same, like, that's similar to when you were speaking at that one conference last summer, and I wanted to know what was happening in my kid's school district. And so I had I had one of the head guys that kind of helped organize everything. I was like, I want to talk to some of the SROs that are here from that school district. I want to know, what do the teachers learn? What are their plans? And that guy walks up to me. In his defense, he didn't know who I was. He didn't know what I knew. He didn't know what my background was. And he was talking to me just like I was this cute little blonde mom, wanting to know what the school district does for their teachers and what kind of training they do around this space. And he starts talking to me and kind of blowing smoke because they don't do much. The SROs go to every school every year and they talk to them about, this is what you're supposed to do. And then I asked him he said, but we have response teams at every school that get more training. And I said, okay, so if the response team is on this end of the building, but you have a bunch of kids that are down on this end of the building and there's still a threat, who's going to help all these kids? And he looked at me and he said, you really think that teachers are going to put tourniquets on their kids? And I turned purple. I was furious. Like, I'm pretty sure there was smoke coming out of my ears. I kept looking over towards Brink because he was in another conversation. And because it took everything in me not to punch him directly in the throat. Because yes, just like what we talked about a few minutes ago, those teachers love those kids. Those kids are those teachers. They are 1 billion% going to save their kid. They're going to put a tourniquet on them, but they have to know how to do it. You have to give them the skills. Like, don't automatically assume that, they're just a kindergarten teacher, they're not going to do this, because they're going to.
As we said, that teacher mentality.
Yes.
They're going to put their life in front of that kid's.
1,000,000%.
I would almost say every time. Would you rather them be trained or untrained? Because
exactly.
they're doing it.
Exactly.
Either way.
Well, you got to think about Townville as a perfect example. They were trying to help him. They were trying to save him.
Let's set this up. Yeah. The audience won't have any idea what you're talking about. There was a school shooting in Townville, South Carolina in September 2016. Former student of the school, gone on to the middle school, got expelled, decided to shoot up a school. Actually chose elementary school at the time because they had no SRO. So he murders his own father, steals dad's truck, drives over, crashes into the playground front, steps out, screams, I hate my life, and starts shooting at kids and teachers on the playground. fired 4 shots, hit 3 kids and a teacher, and then threw the gun down. And said, I don't know why I'm doing this. Well, one of those kids was a kid named Jacob Hall, and Jacob was shot in his leg. It's the 911 call we play at the front end of the medical, and you know, there you hear him on the bar. It's so just it just shatters your heart because they're trying to save this child, and he's obviously got a femoral severed as fast as he expired. But the fact that they literally did not know where to put a fist or a knee, the stuff that the medical stuff that she brings to the team that we train on, like that literally could have
could be here.
Very likely saved his life.
Correct.
He should be 14. Like, he could be here.
Yeah. From a simple, and I want to say that as taking the training. We recommend it all the time, but then when we took it, it is simple. Mm-hmm. It is not complex. It does not take Rambo and Schwarzenegger to come in and do these things.
No.
This is stuff that is doable, and it's not even I don't want to say it's not a lot of brain power, not to put it down any, but it's not. It's very simple steps that are just repeatable and can be done whether you have the kid or you don't. As Brink said, as far as where to put a knee, where to put a fist, where to put a credit card over an open hole.
Yep.
I mean, simple stuff.
Yep. We say all the time, pre-hospital care is not difficult. It's about knowing what part of the body gets what treatment so I can get you to a higher level of care. But it has to be, we also don't come in and show a bunch of gore, a bunch of craziness.
How many people do you think we'd have pass out if we showed crazy gore?
Oh, Lord. I mean, we use cartoon depictions, and I'd say we're 1 in 20, 1 in 25 trainings we have somebody go out.
Oh, yeah. Trainings, yeah.
Like faints, passes out.
Yeah.
From the medical.
Even with a warning. We even get up there and we say, hey, is anybody in this room going to fall on the floor if I start talking about that red stuff that comes out of our bodies?
Right.
And Tracey, you and I had one at one of the trainings, yes. And it was the biggest, toughest guy. That was, but you saved him.
I didn't save anything.
We were doing a really large school district in Tennessee.
Oh my
we had 1,600 teachers in the room. All right, so we're training 1,600 people at a time. I had done my part and went backstage at a large church. I was just going to kind of just relax for a few minutes. She was doing her part, and then I decided I'm going to go back in there. And about the time I hit the stairs, stage left, I all of a sudden I don't hear her talking just instantly. And then as I'm coming upstairs, I see her bounding over audience chairs, diving into the audience. Like, what just happened? Are we crowd surfing, or like what is happening here? And somebody had gone down, and the medic in her, of course, is jumping over everybody, going to treat. So it is every once in a while we do have somebody, and some people I think just don't know. They think they're fine.
Yeah.
And then just talking about it, but either way, that is rare, and I want to hear people say I want people to hear me say we don't gross you out, we don't do all those things. It's very simple stuff. And
Madison can handle it.
Life skill stuff. So nobody has any idea what you're talking about that's listening to this episode, but our marketing communications coordinator, Madison Hicks, who's been a great addition to our team, has been through the training. That's how we met her. Actually, she worked somewhere else, and we experienced our training. And she does fine with it. She was a few days on board and came full disclosure, just saying, hey, just full disclosure, I don't do well with like blood and vomit and like things like that, but I'm like, okay, that's great, so she's never going to be a role player for our 2-day combat medical course. We've definitely established that, which I probably ought to hit just real quick. That's another thing we do. So people that are listening that want to up your medical skills, or you've been through our training and been through the 1-hour version, we do offer a 2-day, it's not often open enrollment, but every once in a while, 2-day combat medical course that comes with a 4-year certification from NAEMT. That's a pretty awesome course that we make it as real as we can make it. So on that note, I want to just kind of wrap things up. I appreciate your words about the training and your trust in us to bring it in front of your people. I mean, obviously you know me in this program because we've been working together so long, but it does mean a lot when people do trust us with that, because it's a heavy topic and it's, you know, potentially life altering if they ever have to use it and all those things. So that's big that you trust us. I would just say to any organization that's thinking about it and just wants to have a conversation around whether or not it's for you or not, feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email. You can also go to defensesystems.com, look at testimonials if you want to hear it from other clients about, you know, that we aren't running in traumatizing everybody, because we want to make sure that that's well known out there. But that's going to be it for this edition of Tips, Tactics, Tools for a Safer Tomorrow. If you guys have questions, comments, concerns, or you have an idea for a guest host, please reach out to us at info@tipstacticstools.com.
I'm out.